I'm Danica Kalemdaroglu, and thank you for joining Balanced Body. Today, I'm going to take you through the long stretch series on my CenterLine Reformer, giving you an aspect to think about that you might not have before. So let's get started. My Balanced Body CenterLine Reformers are all fit with 2 heavy green springs, followed by 2 red springs on the inside, and then 1 blue in the middle. For the long stretch series, I'm feeling like a good challenge today, so I'm going to use 2 greens. Now for the long stretch, if you really want to make it challenging, drop it down to 1 green spring. If you're using reds, that makes it even lighter. But 1 spring means it's going to be more challenged to bring the springs closed and bring the carriage back home. But that is the true secret sauce to the entirety of the long stretch series. So you saw me do it. I'm down to 1 green spring. I'm going to bring my hand down onto the foot bar, and remember, don't pull up on it, as there is no safety security of the foot bar on your CenterLine Reformers. I'm going to bring the opposite foot into the headrest, which has a black pad in it for traction. Other hand, opposite foot, assuming that plank position where the abdominals are really working to keep those springs closed. It's an inhale to press out, and again, on that 1 spring, I'm not going very far because I want to make sure that I can bring the springs back closed and seal them closed. Inhale on the way out, and exhale coming back in. Now, if I add that green spring back on, I have much more support in the carriage and in the spring to press out a little bit farther. It's going to challenge my upper body more, therefore, because as I reach into the strength of my feet and press out, now my shoulders have to completely change their angle, and it's much more work to pull my core back together, but the springs help me on the way in more than they did on the 1 spring. Inhaling and exhaling coming in. Coming over the toes if you can, or just simply putting 1 knee down and then the other to go into the down stretch. The down stretch, the most important part, is to try and achieve as much flexion and that first metatarsal as you can. That's what's going to allow you to drive the heels farther back. Whether or not they actually touch anything, that's not really the big deal. But get that flexion as best you can so you're driving down and back. That causes the opposite reaction of the hips forward. Lift the chest in a swan. Inhale out. Exhale, pull the springs closed. Add the challenge. Seal the carriage. Could you lift 1 arm? Bring it down. Could you lift the other? Bring it down. If you can't, then you're dropping and you're sinking. I can't lift anything that way. Coming back into it, reach back through. And exhale as you come up. Eventually working onto your fingertips to bring you into the idea of a high arch, a high swan, eventually into your back bend. Re-rounding, I'm going to plant my hands, plant the feet, keep those springs closed as I come into my up stretch position. Heels driving down and back into the blocks. Now, it'd be 1 variation to start this from changing the position of my spine from flexion to an extended, more flat back. But what I really want to do is initiate from the action of the pelvis, connecting down into the hamstrings, opening the front of the hips as soon as possible, articulating me into that long line. Pull the springs closed, keep them closed, pull up back into that rounded elephant shape. Notice how my heels never leave the blocks. I'm driving into the connection of them the whole time to meet the spring as it helps bring the carriage closed, and then pull back up. If the carriage and the spring are bouncing around the whole time, that means I don't have the control in my center. 1 more time, reaching out, coming through. Now, depending on how tall you are, depends on how much thoracic flexion you might need so that you don't face plant over the bar. Again, keep reaching back in those heels to help make you stay connected. From here, It's just an easy lowering of the heels, getting that deep plantar flexion. Flex those toes so that you can drive weight down through the entirety of the sole of your foot. Breathing in, exhaling, 2, 3. Inhaling out, exhale, 1, 2, 3. Your long stretch, your down stretch, your up stretch, and your elephant are 4 vital exercises in your long stretch series. But again, if you focus on closing the springs and controlling the carriage on the way in, it changes everything about the exercise. Thank you for watching Balanced Body.